hopefully today my answers and some of my thoughts and ideas might evoke some ideas in you to help you out in life. They always say that in life you're only like 2 or 3 ideas away from changing your circumstances and changing things around. So I hope that I can do that for you today. As I said, I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. That's where I was born at, and I lived in the Low Country. I don't know if anybody heard about places like Monk's Corner or Goose Street. West Ashley, good, great. So that's the area I grew up in, and football is a big thing down there. So if you didn't play football, you probably wasn't living. So basically, what I did was I came up playing football. I always wanted to leave there, so I passed up on any scholarship that was in state, and I went out state and bounced around in a couple colleges, worked in radio and TV. And then also retail. I've been working for like 15 years in retail. So, my background was sports and sales.
What are the similarities between Pikeville and BUL?
Okay, so when I first went to Pikeville, it was called Pikeville College. Now it's the University of Pikeville. And I can say that it was a bit of a culture shock when I got there. The only people that looked like me there was people on the football team. And so that was something different than I was used to. But the school was very small, very humble. But everybody that came there, they was at another school before. So it was kind of like a second chance school. And everybody had the intentions of making a name for themselves, building the school up, and creating a second chance for themselves. So, coming here, I kind of see that same mindset. See, I feel like if you can use the word now, your past is not that important. In terms of any negative things that was in your past, any things that was holding you back. Like when you have the opportunity to do something different, like you can shape in your mind where you want to do, where you want to go, and nothing in your past should be able to stop you from doing it. You should allow that to encourage you and motivate you to continue to press forward. So the book that I'm focusing on right now is basically, have anybody ever felt like athletes, we got a lot of athletes in here, anybody ever felt like you're disconnected from the world or you prejudged based off of being an athlete? Anybody ever had that feeling? All right, so the book that I'm writing is basically tied in between athletics and how it teaches you life lessons. There was some guy on Fox News. I know after the Ferguson trial, all those things happening, and there was football players that were speaking on those matters, and the Fox guy said they're athletes. You know, they're not supposed to speak on weightier matters. They can't speak on those things. They don't have the intellect for those things. So what I'm doing is I'm writing a book that shows all the principles that football has taught us and how it's applicable to our life today. And I mean, there's some good things in there in terms of, I know y'all remember the 3-a-day practices. Most of your friends quit during 3-a-day practice, right? But on Friday night, they're like, oh, I could have done that, but no, you couldn't have done that. Right? And the same thing with college. You know, most of them talk about that what they could have done on Saturdays, but they're not there. So, you know, there's a couple principles, but in that book, I want to pretty much tie the line between the I don't want to say jocks, but that's what they call us, jocks and the geeks. But by a show of hands, how many people parents left a business to them, or how many people family is well off and you really probably didn't need to go to college? Show of hands, anybody? Okay, so most of us, the reality is our parents, and not on purpose, but our parents didn't teach us how to build a legacy for ourselves, or they didn't leave a legacy for us. So it's important that we learn to do that for ourselves. And I would tell the young folks, your legacy started when you graduated high school. So you started building your network and building your people up and your following around. So that's when your legacy started. So for me, I think it's important that we not only build a legacy for ourselves, but for our kids and the people behind us that's looking up to us. Enter into the speaking business, or enter into any business where you're not familiar with. It's a tough thing. So I have a quote that says, "For success to be mine, I have to know the mind of the successful." Say that with me. Say, "For success to be mine, I have to know the mind of the successful." So what that means to me is, if I'm going to be anything in life, there's probably people who wrote books about it. There's people who post YouTube videos about it. and there's mentors out there that I can seek. So my first thing was to get in that culture, get in that mindset of something. If you want to be a professional athlete, you want to be a football player, you should probably know some other professional athletes that can teach you and show you the ropes. So the first thing that I did was reach out to my mentors. I got in contact with people like Les Brown, and they gave me some great advice to go out and speak to schools, speak to Toastmasters, and different events like that. Any corporation or any school, there was somebody who started it, right? So I say, and I heard this before, whenever you're facing a situation and it's a bad circumstance, you can be two things. You can be a victim or a visionary, right? The victim is going to sit and complain about circumstances, project the results on somebody else. A visionary is going to look beyond the circumstances. So everybody in a business, in a college, there was a point where they had to be a visionary. And the things didn't look good for them. Things didn't feel good for them, but they pressed on because they had the why in mind and they had a vision in mind. So adapting to the culture, saturate yourself in the lifestyle. Right? So I always say that if you want to be a cook, you need to get around other cooks. You need to get around chefs. You need to read cookbooks. You need to do whatever it takes to saturate yourself in that mindset. Because again, when your thoughts leak into your subconscious mind and you feel like you're that person, that's when you become that person. So you have to definitely get around people that's going to edify you.
What have you learned, and what's your philosophy on people?
So what I've learned is people fall into three categories. And the thing about these categories, some of their personalities and some of their actions are very similar, but their perspective make them go into different categories. The first category is a failing person. This is somebody with a weak mindset. This is someone who don't take account for their actions. They always blame somebody else. And these are probably job haters. I don't know if you ever been in the workforce and you're around somebody who's always talking about the negatives about the job, they hate the job, and oh boy, another day. Those are the failing people, right? Now the next people are the active people. So now the active people, they're progressing, they're doing something, right? They have knowledge, right? They have a form of knowledge because they do whatever it takes not to fail, but they don't take risks. So they just become active and they're job takers, right? And the third one is the successful people. These are the job makers. These people are successful because they embrace failure as a part of the path to success, right? They are very strong-willed. They believe in themselves, and they always get out of circumstances because they don't judge themselves by the circumstances. Success has many definitions as there are people. When I look at professors, those are an example of success. Because when your purpose and your passion can be integrated in your daily life, that's success. And whatever you define as that, that's what success is. So my definition of success is going to be different than his and different than his and different than hers because we don't have the same passions, we don't have the same fulfillment. So you have so many people in this world that's going to try to limit you. They're gonna give you the limitation. So the job vacancy, well, there's no job vacancy for people who's gonna limit you. So don't limit yourself. Your second success always comes after your first success, right? I don't know if you heard of John Johnson. He created Ebony Magazine and Jet Magazine, right? So he did that. That was his first success, but he also did the makeup and did the TV. So anytime you succeed in one thing, I think it's like I think it's addicting, right? Like when you realize you accomplished something, you want to accomplish the next thing. So keep going. So I believe success is like chopping down a tree, right? You can have an axe, a chainsaw, you can have a butter knife or a steak knife. Here's what you need to be doing. You either need to be cutting. You either need to be studying and reading your craft to try to learn to do that more effectively, or you need to be networking to find people that can help, right? Those three things. You got to be engaged in those three things consistently. You can't not do one of the others, and you can't just focus on one of them, right? Because if you just focus on reading, right, you're going to be knowledgeable. And anybody ever heard the term knowledge is power? I don't believe that. I think the application of knowledge is powerful, right? Because there's people who know some things and still don't get things done, right? So don't just be spending all your time reading. You got to be able to apply that thing. And then also the action of cutting, right? You're showing that you have heart. You're showing that you have courage. You're getting it done. And then you're humble enough to go ask for help and seek people that can help you. If you had a butter knife cut down this tree, and you're shaping away at the tree, one day someone with a chainsaw might come by and see you in your actions. And they were like, you know, I can help you out, and they chop the tree down for you. Right? I spoke to some kids in Colombia at a camp, and I was telling them, go hard on your dreams, help will come. When people see you active, they're gonna help you out. But if that mindset is, well, I got a butter knife, I'm gonna just chill in the house, I'm gonna play bad today. It's gonna be like 5 people around by with a chainsaw. They're gonna be able to see that you engaged in work. So in success, you have to be doing all three of those things: perfecting your craft, becoming a professional, actively doing it, and seeking out people that's gonna help your movement, not hurt your movement. It'll be easy to be negative. That's what's easy. That's the easiest thing to do. I don't want to get too biblical, but so if you if you go into Romans start talking about how man decided to feel so much that they hold their word over the word of God, right? So they started to believe their feelings more than they believe the word of God. So if you are a feeling-oriented person, you react on your feelings. There's another quote that I wrote. It's called fact, act, feelings follow, right? You take the fact of a situation, the truth, you act on that, and you let your feelings follow. But so many of us, we make decisions based off our feelings. And what happens is, you feel something, you do it, then you feel bad about it later. So your feelings all over the place. So it's definitely not easy to succeed in something that you want to gain, but without resistance, there's no reward. And you guys know that with exercising and working out. I mean, if you bench and you got like 3 reps and your arms start hurting and you give up, you'll get pushed around on the field on Saturday. 3 reasons why you're here. Be accountable. 3 reasons why you're in this situation. All right? And after that, I want you to think of 5 reasons why you're the right person for the job. Right? So you take account, but you also put follow courage. Because a lot of times we think fear is a bad thing, but you cannot be courageous if you never felt the feeling of fear, right? You know, when you get up, you're not courageous for waking up in the morning. This is something that you do. But to keep going despite your circumstances, that's what you do. And think about this. I was thinking, when I first walked on this campus, I kind of saw some things. I was like, man, this is an interesting situation. If there was a film producer that's going to make a movie, he went to a college that was successful, and they became more successful. And then he went to a college that had some challenges, then they became successful. Who's going to get the movie deal? The people who already have the great things, or these people who make tremendous strides? So it's kind of like, when you facing a situation, it's the same thing, be a victim or a visionary. You got to see the benefits, you got to see how you're going to get something out of it. And building a legacy, that's something that you can talk about with your kids forever. That's something you can write books about. That's something you can speak about. That's something that's going to set you apart from other people. So, do anybody know people with the if disease? Because if you're not raising your hand, you might be the people with the if disease. You know what? If this teacher made the test easier, I'll be a 4.0 student. Right? If my mom would have done this, I would have been that. Right? So my if thing was I'm in Charlton, you from West Ashley, so you know the color guys down there. They say, man, if I get this money, man, I'm gonna do this. If I get this, I'm gonna come up. I'm like, all right. Like you can't manage $10, you ain't gonna manage $10,000, right? And the young lady here, we talked before about economics. Like, that's something that we losing in. We do not understand economics. And before I get into that, I wanted to talk about this idea of mine. So, everybody know about the prison systems, right? You know you can invest in the prison systems, right? That's big business. So think about the prison system. The prison system is things that people put stock into. Now there's people who own record labels, right? That promote and have music that influence the people that's going into those prison systems. And most of those people but have stock in the prison systems, right? So they're making money from the prison system, they're making money from the music, and guess what? As this person making the music, as he encourages people to keep doing those things, that's going to feed into that. But if he decides to live what he rap, and he go to jail, guess who's still making money, right? And not only about the bad things that we do, but they also rap about other things, as in clothes and cars. Well, guess what? His friend owned the clothes and the cars. So again, who's spending all the money? Right? So the blog was about economics. We are not taught about this as much. So what I talked about was how to spend your money, right? And we can start with $1, we can start with $1,000, however you want to do it. You guys probably will get some refunds check soon. If you got a job, you're going to get a check. So with every check you get, live off of 55% of that check, right? Paying your bills, splurging, shopping, video games, whatever it is, live off of 55% of that check, right? 15% of that check go immediately to your savings account. Don't touch, let the compound build up on that. 10% goes to investing in yourself. How many of you got dreams and goals of doing something, right? So here's something that I talked about on there. Let's say it was $1. You spend 55 cents, you put 15 cents in the bank, and then you take 10 cents and go to the store, buy a lemon, right? Squeeze the lemon, put a little bit of sugar to make some lemonade, sell a lemonade for 15 cents or $1 a cup. Look at your profit margin. Does that make sense? So the same thing, if you have some kind of passion, like you want to invest in yourself, reading something or learning something or taking a class or whatever it is, that 10% need to go towards a profit, right? The next 10% is philanthropy. Give to an organization and churches that are doing good in your community, right? Because you're building back up in your community. And then the last one is putting it into an account and playing the stock market. Like investing in positive business that are making money. So that way, your money is working for you instead of you working for it. I was living in D.C. when all the Ferguson stuff was going down, and there's a lot of involvement in there. And the question kept coming up: is this a moment or is it a movement? Is it a moment or a movement? So that question to me, I wrote a blog about that as well. But that question to me, it made me think that a lot of times with people, we just live in the moment, and we just want to be a part of something for like just a moment, right? And we don't know that a movement is like a lifestyle. It's forever, right? It's something that you, like again, as we talk about legacy, that's something that, like your end goal is creating something, right? So with this, like you gotta understand that you're a part of a movement, right? And if you're not a part of the movement, like you're not cheating anybody but yourself and then your followers, right? I also said that everybody, do everybody think they're a leader here? How many leaders do we have here? Right? So even if you don't think you're a leader, the truth is you actually are. Everybody is a leader to some extent. But your following is contingent upon your ability to risk take and also to accept failure as a part of your success. And then your following increases with that. you know, some people have small followings, some people have big followings. But I would advise you to, you know, find your passion, find your gift, and see how you can use it to help this movement move forward.
Listen, right now, be blessed and be. Everybody should join together, be a part of the movement. We're doing a lot of great things, and I appreciate you coming here. You've answered some very good questions. You cleared up a lot of things that probably the students wanted to know. And as of right now, I'd like to open it up. We have a microphone down here. If anybody would like to ask Mr. Shaw a question.
I was always told that being successful was the easy part, last part, like getting there. But the hard part was maintaining it being sustainable. What do you think about that?
So yeah, definitely the maintaining is important. Somebody who's a professional is in constant pursuit of perfecting their craft. So in terms of success, yes, I don't think it's easy to get here. No, I think that's something that you have to get beside yourself to get there. But and also maintaining it, like I like quality. I like the quality of things. So I think in terms of success, you definitely want to continue to perfect your craft, and then doing that, you reach back to teach other people. Because when you're teaching, you're kind of like you're teaching yourself as well. So teaching is a form of staying successful. So what gave me the motivation, when I was younger, there was always older people, we call them old heads, that will just stop you and start talking to you, right? And most of us young people will be like, man, we ain't got time for this. But me, I got the popcorn, I'm listening. So I always like for you to be able to just speak from your experience and pour into somebody's life and it sticks with them. Like that was just a passion of mine. But the thing for me was, I was always waiting for my time. I was always waiting for the right time, or somebody was gonna come find me and give me the opportunity to do those things. So what I would say is, be courageous. Whatever it is, expect to fail, and when you fail, you will figure out what it takes to prevail. So don't allow fear to stop you from doing things. It's just a feeling, and it's a necessary feeling for you to move forward. So definitely find your passion and do it now. Right?
I have a question that I struggle with as I teach, and that is, it's kind of a question between how much people should change and how much they should stay the same. I sometimes think that when I teach students, they feel like I'm trying to change them into somebody they're not. And I'm not. But on the other hand, there are some things that need to change for people to be successful. And I wish you could talk a little bit about how to stay true to yourself and yet adapt to the environment that you want to live in instead of the environment that you're stuck in.
Right. So the crazy thing is, a couple things come to mind. Like for some reason, I end up mentoring a lot of women who they want leaders, they want a husband to submit to, but at the same time, when there are things that you probably should do that's going to help you out in the long run, all you're thinking about is somebody's trying to change you, somebody trying to change you. But here's the thing: if you decide you want this to succeed, you want to succeed in this, right? You're a leader or you're a visionary, somebody with experience. They already know the pathway to success. And they know how to get you out of your situation. And they are external of your feelings. So therefore, you should allow yourself to, trust in their ability to guide you, right? Think outside the box. Be more courageous. Because if you think that your current state of intellect is enough to keep you going, you're not that smart. A Bible verse says, "Them that compare themselves among themselves are not wise." Right? If all your friends encourage you to keep doing the same thing you're doing, it's not going to happen. So you have to get outside of your circumstances and outside of your situation to move forward and have an open mind on things. In Charleston, we also talk about the crab in the bucket mentality. Right? So when you try to come up, they're gonna pull you back down. Cause that's how they think, you know. But when you go out into in the world and experience people, you see things differently. My example was I went to Pikeville, and again, I was African American in Eastern Kentucky in the mountains. It was just different. But one thing I did learn was there's a difference between racism and people being uncomfortable with you. And we sometimes mistake that for racism, but it's just, I'm not comfortable with you. You're not comfortable with another person by just meeting them. So the thing is, you gotta have the ability to allow your mind to be expanded. And when you don't do that, you're just harming yourself. So, thank you.